Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. It's actually wild how the absolute greatest films can literally tell you everything you need to know about a character in just the first 5 minutes. I mean, it's pure cinematic magic, right? A great opening doesn't just introduce a world, it instantly hooks your heart and gets that narrative clock ticking. So today, we're breaking down the anatomy of a perfect Act 1 by looking at the totally iconic opening of Kung Fu Panda. For our agenda today, we'll start with the legendary dream sequence, then look at waking up to reality. From there, we'll check out the inciting vision of danger, followed by the race for destiny, and finally wrap up with some masterful storytelling takeaways. Okay, let's dive right into this with Section 1, the legendary dream sequence. Creating a 3D animated cartoon for this iconic opening sequence of Kung Fu Panda is an exciting project for sure. But to really visually jar the audience, the artists made this absolutely brilliant choice. They didn't actually start in 3D. They went with this highly dynamic, high-contrast 2D anime style for the dream, which perfectly emphasizes Poe's heroic, limitless, idealized self. And that just makes it hit so much harder when he brutally crashes back down into his meticulously rendered, kind of clumsy, noodle-bound 3D reality. It establishes exactly what he desires right out of the gate, well before we even see his normal, daily life. And man, the dialogue in this dream sequence is just phenomenal. There is no charge for awesomeness or attractiveness. Kabloo! I mean, come on, that is just pure, unadulterated, hyperbolic fun. It perfectly establishes Poe's mythic, playful longing. He doesn't just want to be a fighter. No, he wants to be feared. He wants to be loved. And he literally wants to stand shoulder to shoulder with his idols, the Furious Five. All right, moving on to Section 2, waking up to reality. Talk about some serious comedic whiplash. We transition so abruptly from that heroic, action-packed dream right into Poe waking up with a start in his warm, kind of cramped 3D animated bedroom above the restaurant. He tries to recreate those epic kung fu moves and, well, immediately knocks over his action figures in a super clumsy display of his physical limits. Now, this brings us to a really crucial character dynamic. Does Mr. Ping, Poe's dad, have dreams of his own? When Poe scrambles downstairs, he's obviously hesitant to share his real dream of martial arts glory, so he lies. He says he was dreaming about noodles. And Mr. Ping just gasps with pure joy, totally mistaking this hesitation for the legendary noodle dream. But it instantly makes us wonder about the heavy weight of generational expectations. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what Mr. Ping reveals next. He says, "When I was young and crazy, I thought about running away and learning how to make tofu." He actually goes on to call it a stupid dream and insists that everyone has their specific assigned place in the world. This is brilliant because it introduces the core theme of parental expectations versus personal destiny. Mr. Ping literally abandoned his tofu dreams out of a sense of duty, and without meaning any harm at all, he's projecting that exact same stifling culinary duty right onto Poe. Let's head into Section 3, the inciting vision of danger. So we leave the warm, cramped noodle shop and ascend to the sacred peach tree of heavenly wisdom up at the Jade Palace. Notice how the pacing and the tone completely shift gears here? We go from this high-energy visual comedy to a very serious philosophical tone to match Master Oogway and Master Shifu. What we're watching here is literally textbook narrative structure at its absolute finest. An inciting incident is basically an event that sets the story into motion and establishes the ticking clock. Master Oogway reveals he's had a vision that the terrifying villain, Tai Lung, is going to return from prison. This acts as the perfect inciting incident. Suddenly, the stakes are life or death, forcing Master Shifu to urgently choose a dragon warrior to protect the whole valley. Amid Shifu's absolute panic, Oogway delivers this profoundly wise thought. "Your mind is like this water, my friend. When it is agitated, it becomes difficult to see. But if you allow it to settle, the answer becomes clear." Just take a second to absorb that. It is absolutely amazing how seamlessly the narrative shifts from that slapstick visual comedy, down with the noodle cart, to this beautiful, quiet, meditative moment. It balances the emotional weight of the whole story perfectly. Next up, Section 4, the race for destiny. Well, the peace down in the valley definitely doesn't last for long. The villagers are shouting the news, the gongs are sounding all across the mountains, and the frantic race to the Jade Palace officially begins. The energy is instantly dialed right back up to maximum, and this brilliantly illustrates the rapid emotional pacing of this Act 1 setup. Think about it. Minute 1 gives us mythic action in the dream. By minute 3, we've got comedic waking and family duty. Minute 5 brings that philosophical warning and the inciting incident. And by minute 7, we are in a full-blown frantic race to the palace. This structure is exactly what keeps us so incredibly engaged. Those emotional gears are just constantly shifting, pulling us deeper and deeper into the world.
But, despite all his eagerness, Poe faces a massive, very tangible obstacle. His dad spots a business opportunity and hands him this incredibly heavy noodle cart to drag to the tournament. So now Poe is panting, he's exhausted, and he's struggling to pull this massive cart up thousands of steep stone steps while everyone else literally sprints right past him. He collapses near the top, and then, boom, the heavy palace door slams shut right in his face. Those closed doors are such a powerful visual symbol. They represent everything standing in Poe's way: his physical limitations, his father's culinary expectations, and just all the external barriers keeping him from his actual destiny.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, Masterful Storytelling Takeaways.
We've just analyzed some seriously incredible cinematic construction today. So the crucial point is how these three structural storytelling mechanics work together to build a completely flawless opening act. First up, character motivation is established instantly. We know Poe's deepest, truest heart before we even see his daily reality. Second, the pacing shifts seamlessly back and forth from boisterous comedy to quiet philosophy, and it just holds our attention captive. And third, a clear, inciting incident creates an immediate ticking clock. When you put them together, these elements lay the absolute perfect foundation for a legendary story.
I want to leave you with a final thought today, bringing this brilliant animation right back to our own lives. Because Poe's struggle isn't just about a panda wanting to do kung fu. It's actually a deeply universal human experience. So I have to ask you, what is your noodle cart? What external pressures, inherited expectations, or maybe deep-seated self-doubts are you dragging up those thousands of steps? What's weighing you down from reaching the top and claiming your own destiny? It's definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.